Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development 2025. Commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 77 years of independence and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns. And Viksit Bharat 2047 in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art Sciences and Well-being. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today, we are celebrating World No Tobacco Day on 31st May every year. Bright products, dark intentions, unmasking the appeal. Appealing flavors but hidden dangers, shameless manipulation of children and youth for industry profit. Everyday tobacco and nicotine industries use carefully engineered projects and deceptive tactics to hook a new generation of users and keep existing ones. So keep the industry out. Flavors are found in many nicotine and tobacco products. There are about 16,000 unique flavors. And flavors are often cited as number one reason for initiation of nicotine and tobacco products use. Like they have advertisements like, "Hey kid, we have been in this game a long time, so listen up. Firstly, you need to have those colors bright." Oh, bright colors? Easy. But why stop there? That's why I add fruity flavors, sleek designs, cool gadgets. You guys are so obvious. US nicotine pouches know the trick to say hidden. Ha, who said that? New products, same lies. The industry keeps reinventing itself to make more money. These are the kinds of propaganda. These are kinds of promotion they take up to attract new generations and also keep existing ones. So tobacco and nicotine industries use insider strategies to make their harmful products appealing, especially to young people. Manipulative product designs, attractive flavors, and glamorized marketing create a false sense of security and evoke desirability. We need to break the illusion. Nicotine and tobacco products are highly addictive and designed to sustain use, trapping users in a cycle of dependence. Additives mask the harshness of tobacco, making it easier to start and harder to quit, and no more candy coating. So, removing the appeal of these products through stricter regulations is essential to protecting current and future generation from harm. So don't let the tobacco and nicotine industries trick people and their playback. Let's stand together to make it crystal clear. No more tricks, no more traps. Join the movement and take action. So, how we can help to this cause? Ban flavors, make flavor setting of the past, regulate product design, less appealing, less addictive, and less toxic, and less harm. Plain packaging, reduce appeal, save lives, ban advertising promotion, and sponsorship out of sight, out of mind. Tobacco and nicotine free public places, clean air is everyone's right, protect people, support quitting, break the cycle of nicotine addiction, increase taxes, less affordable and less access. So this year, the theme is bright products, dark intentions, unmask the appeal. Tobacco Expos. So this yearly celebration informs the public on the dangers of using tobacco, the business practice of tobacco companies, what World Health Organization is doing to fight for the tobacco epidemic, and what people around the world can do to claim their rights to health and healthy living and to protect future generations. The member states of the World Health Organization created World No Tobacco Day in 1987 to draw global attention to the tobacco epidemic and the preventable death and disease it causes. In 1987, the World Health Assembly passed the resolution WHA 40.38 calling for 7th April 1988 to be a World No Smoking Day. In 1988, Resolution WHA 42.19 was passed calling the celebration of World No Tobacco Day every year on 31st May. So to assist you with information and guidance, there is an AI resource assistant for health, which is known as SARA, in short for Smart AI Resource Assistant for Health. You can talk to SARA and meet Sarah, a smart AI resource assistant for health. She uses generative AI to help you lead a healthier life. So, Sarah is a prototype of a digital health promoter available 24/7 in 8 languages via video or text. She can provide tips to distress, eat right, quit tobacco and e-cigarettes, as well as give information on several other health topics. She is not designed to give medical advice, so you can try it as we want to hear feedback from the users. World Health Organizations welcomes ethical research using this new technology to explore its potential benefits for public health. World Health Organization will make surveys and training materials for SARA public health for the benefit of public research into artificial intelligence and health. So, using cutting edge technology, Sarah has helped fight misinformation about COVID-19 since the beginning of the pandemic. She now also provides information across major health topics, including mental health, and can share tips to prevent some of the biggest causes of death in the world, including cancer, heart disease, lung disease, and diabetes. She uses generative AI as a base and has been trained with information from the World Health Organization and trusted partners. So start your journey. Talk to Sarah today. And tobacco consumption not only creates health issues, but it also creates a lot of pollution. And not only active smoking causes cancer and various diseases, but also passive smoking, that those who are not smoking but around smokers are also equally vulnerable, in fact, more vulnerable to cancers and other diseases. So today, we are also commemorating this World No Tobacco Day on 31st, which is a goal to spread awareness about the risks of tobacco use and how we make the world tobacco free. Roughly 6 million people die from tobacco related ailments every year, and the number is projected to rise to over 8 million by 2030 and more. But this is by no means a guarantee. The Sustainable Development Agenda aims to reduce deaths from non infectious diseases by a third diseases linked to tobacco are on the list. So if we hit the target, 2030 will be a year to celebrate not only for our health, but the size of our wallets. Your average smoker drops around $4,000 on cigarettes annually. Imagine all of other cool days you could enjoy with that money. And you have suggestions, just saying. So let's use World No Tobacco Day as a launching pad to a brighter and less smoky future. So World No Tobacco Day is an initiative by the World Health Organization and is observed on May 31st every year, as already discussed. The campaign aims to spread awareness about the dangers of tobacco and its negative impact on health, as well as the exploitation of the nicotine industry that is geared towards youth in particular. It also aims to reduce the diseases and deaths caused by tobacco consumption. The World No Tobacco Day theme for 2021 is Commit to Quit. So the member states of the World Health Organization created World No Tobacco Day in 1987 as a response to global tobacco crisis and the diseases and deaths caused by the epidemic. The World Health Assembly passed resolution WHA 40.38 in 1987 calling for April 7 to be World No Smoking Day. The next resolution, WHA 42.19, was passed in 1998, issuing May 31st as an annual observance of World No Tobacco Day. The World Health Organization reports 8 million deaths every year due to consumption of tobacco. Tobacco is leading cause of respiratory disorders like chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, tuberculosis, and other lung diseases. In 2008, the WHO banned any kind of advertisement or promotion of tobacco as the world's most populated country. China is the leader in the cigarette industry. More than 30% of the total cigarettes in the world were produced and consumed in China in 2014. Health warnings first appear So health warnings first appear on the US tobacco and cigarette packaging in 1960s. Read it and weep. In 1987, the World Health Organization creates World No Tobacco Day to tackle the tobacco epidemic, which is a global concern in 1987. So the World Health Organization adopts the framework Convention on Tobacco Control, which promotes awareness against smoking with the use of labels in 2003, and now it's official. So the estimated number of people killed by smoking during the 20th century is around 100 million. The number of adults in the US who are living with a disease attributed to smoking are more than 16 million. The number of people who died from smoking in 2017 is over 8 million. The percentage of global deaths that are attributed to smoking is 15% and more. The age over which more than half of the deaths occur due to smoking is 70. The number of adults in the world who smoke tobacco is 1 in 5. The percentage of world's 1.3 billion tobacco users who live in low and middle income countries is 80%. The number of deaths among 1.3 billion tobacco users that occurred due to direct smoking are 7 million and more. The number of deaths among 1.3 billion tobacco users that occurred due to second-hand smoking is 1.2 million and more. So, though initially the purpose of World No Tobacco Day was to discourage people from using tobacco or nicotine products for 24 hours, the observance became an annual event to create awareness on the exploitation of the tobacco industry and the harmful effects of smoking on one's health. So, you might not be ready to quit, and who can blame you? It's tough, but you can start laying the groundwork for your exit by counting the number of cigarettes you smoke in a day. You'll start to think more about your health and the amount of money you put into tobacco. When you are ready to take the plunge, there are plenty of self help books that guide you through the early rocky stages. You can do it. As they say, the best way to quit smoking is never to start. Try and encourage young people around you to avoid habit altogether. Depending on where you live, there might be match or some march or some public demonstrations. Maybe you can design a cool poster to help promote them. Better yet, hold a contest to see who can create the best anti-smoking poster. So teenagers can be a bit mischievous, so you will want to clearly define what's appropriate before they hit you with the final reveal. So warning labels on cigarette boxes deter people from smoking. Petition to support these laws so that trend continues to gain momentum. Also, plain packaging laws could also use some more backing. These laws place restrictions on the logos and colors of tobacco products, which make them tougher to sell. You know, you how you can't judge a book by its cover. Well, people definitely judge a product by its packaging. If label looks drab, we are less likely to pay it any mind. And that's totally not shallow. It's not like tobacco has a good personality on the inside. Tobacco is full of chemicals. There are more than 7,000 chemicals in tobacco smoke. 69 of these harmful chemicals are known to cause cancer. Only 20% of the world's population is protected by smoking laws, mostly in high income countries. Statistics predict that 5.6 million children living in the US today will die of smoking related disease. There is enough nicotine in 5 cigarettes to kill an average adult if ingested whole. So around 80% of deaths due to tobacco happen in low and middle income countries. In other words, the poorest people are the ones most negatively affected due to addiction. Money that could be used on education, food, or healthcare goes to tobacco over the years. This decreases productivity and drives up the cost of healthcare. And that's not a pretty picture for any income. And it's a surefire way to keep the less fortunate impoverished. Second-hand smoke causes over 6 lakh deaths a year, sadly, but 28% of the victims are kids. But considering the nearly 50% of children breathe smoky air in public places, we are lucky that the rate isn't higher. Many cities and states already have public smoking bans. but it will take more work to get everybody on board. This is one time when you can jump on the bandwagon without losing any cool points, we promise. Growing tobacco takes a lot of pesticides and fertilizers. Some of these toxic elements can seep into water supplies, but the damage doesn't stop there. The manufacturing process creates more than 2 million tons of waste and consumes 4.3 million hectares of land. It's estimated that this contributes between 2 to 4% of the world's deforestation. If you like to breathe air, we're pretty big fans of it. It's worth saving as much as of our forests as possible. A few less tobacco farms could help. Today is also commemorated as World Parrot Day, which is celebrated on May 31st, is a day that celebrates the parrot as a phenomenon. The order Pistiforms include 398 species of birds divided into 92 genera. Parrots are mostly found in tropical and subtropical regions. The order Tristachiphos is subdivided into three superfamilies: the Psittacidae, also known as true parrots, and cockatoos, and the Strigopedia, which are known as the New Zealand parrots. One third of all parrot species are currently endangered, making them the birds with the highest aggregate extinction risk than any other bird group. Parrots have a pantropological distribution, with several species also living in temperate regions of the southern hemisphere. Some characteristic features of parrots include strong, curved beaks, an upright stance, strong legs, and clawed feet. A large number of parrots are vividly colored, with some being multicolored. In the visual spectrum, most parrots exhibit little or no sexual dimorphism. They are the most varied size bird order concerning their length. The earliest record of a pet parrot in British Isles dates back to 1504 when Henry VIII owned an African grey parrot. The age of exploitation lasted from the early 15th century to the early 17th century, and it was marked by European ships sailing around the world in search of new trading routes. Several animals have been brought back from these trips of different purposes. Parrots from India, Africa, South America were some of the most common imports from these exploration trips. Not only are parrots colorful and easy to domesticate, but they are also provided relatively easy transportation on the long, uncomfortable sea voyages back to Europe. Only a few people were aware of the needs of parrots, and this ignorance resulted in the death of many birds in transit. However, parrots did much better than more delicate bird species. The records of birds kept in menageries, the precursor to zoos, private collections of delight, and the artwork of birds from 16th to 18th centuries list parrots, pheasants, ostriches, and other long-lived and relatively easy to keep birds. Most parrots are relatively fresh out of the wild, as they are only a few generations removed from the wild, and a few owners allow parrots the opportunity to express and exhibit their most basic bird instincts, such as flying, flocking, and mate finding. Most parrots can talk, that is, parroting, and many parrots do with training, but some parrots never speak a word simply because of their individuality. Parrots can fly except for the kakapo, which is the largest parrot. However, most pet parrots do not fly much because they aren't in the wild. In celebration of the World Parrot Day, you can adopt a parrot as a pet, and they usually are fun and talkative. Donate to a parrot conservation and contribute to efforts to save parrots for extinction. All parrots need a safe environment, whether it's a family home or in the wild. So if you own a pet parrot, You should share pictures and videos of it using the hashtag WorldParrot. Even if you don't own a parrot, read about the dangers they are currently facing and make your friends list more aware. So parrots do live very long with the average span of 35 to 50 years. Parrot beaks are extremely strong and it is said that they can be strong enough to cause harm to metal cage. The kakapo, based in New Zealand, is the biggest parrot, weighing up to 9 pounds but being unable to fly. In 1995, a parrot named Puck, which was in the Guinness World Records for knowing up to 1700 birds. Parrots out in the wild can keep mating all through their lives. So, parrots are very fun birds to keep as pets, if not for any reason, but for the fact that you can teach them to speak. Parrots are relatively easy to train most of the time, learn by imitation. So ensure you repeat all the words you can your parrot to learn. Parrots are beautiful because of their various bright colors. They are just really aesthetically pleasing as birds go. Today is also commemorated as What You Think Upon Gross Day. In US, the focus is strictly on our mental health for What You Think Upon Gross Day, celebrated annually on May 31st. Obscure as this day may seem, it is one of the most positive days you can celebrate and leave us feeling better than we are. Although there is no history, but it is placed on this date in the honor of one of the pioneers of modern positive thinking, Norman Vincent Peale. He was a clergyman and author, served as a pastor in Marble Collegiate Church, New York, and was one of the many people who embraced and popularized the concept of positive thinking. Today is all about the power of positive thinking. Before you prejudge this day or roll your eyes due to all motivational content you come across about this, allow you to give a fresh perspective by delving into what this is all about. They say it all starts with the mind, but where did it start? Positive thinking or positive mental attitude is said to have begun as a concept in 1930s, and even though the principle has been inculcated within the various practices, ideologies, religions, and beliefs in several ways. As a concept, it began with self help author Oliver Napoleon Hill and his book Think and Grow Rich. In this book, Hill discusses positive thinking as a necessity for success. However, he never outrightly used the term saving that for his future book, Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude, which he wrote alongside W. Clement Stone. Positive thinking is a philosophy that encourages an optimistic mind, asserting it is the key to attracting positive changes and happenings in our lives. It includes prioritizing the small joys of life, dwelling on them, and being content with them. Norman Vincent Peale was also one of the pioneers of positive mental attitude, which he discusses at length in his book, The Power of Positive Thinking. He lived in his life as an author, public speaker, and pastor of Marble Collegiate Church, New York. So, What You Think Upon Grove Day was created to encourage individuals to embrace the power of positive thinking and apply it with hope of living happier and more fulfilled lives. It was set on Peale's birthday to honor his memory and birth. Today is also commemorated as Web Designer Day, which is celebrated annually on May 31st. Ever admired the vastness of the internet and Bermo, Bemo, that fact that you have no idea how it all came to be. A web designer created and designed every page and site on the internet. It required a human being doing genuine labor to bring you the wonders that flood across the information superhighway every day. Whether it was a professional carving out single bit of code or hobbyist using a pre-built site and themes, in much the same way, the history of the building is the history of its construction, the history of web designers, as just the history of web and how it came to be. Someone had to spend time developing the first website ever since the internet was conceived. We eventually built dozens of videos and audio protocols, as well as many web browsers, chat rooms arose, and YouTube was born, all of which were developed by a quiet army of folks who got to sit back and watch us reap the benefits of their labors. We rarely know their names, though. So we all know Mark Zuckerberg created Facebook, but behind the scenes, an army of nameless developers keep the service functioning. Web designers don't only build the gorgeous sections, they also produce all little bits and pieces that keep a site functioning in the background. And they typically have varied specialties. They channel their creativity into creating the alternate world we have all come to rely upon. Without web designers, the world would surely be a far more uninteresting hunk of dirt. This observance allows us to recognize the important work they do, whether it's creating an e commerce store or social media platform. We cannot ignore the important role these heroes play in the modern age. So don't forget to appreciate web designers for their own efforts on Web Designer Day. They deserve all the thanks we can give them. Today is also commemorated as Tracky Dack Day in Australia. We confess that we had to brush up Australian English to figure out what a Tracky Dack is and why Australians celebrate Tracky Dack Day on any day in May. May 31st this year. So Tracky Dack Day is celebrated every year in Australia with gusto, an Italian term, by the way, not Aussie. To understand Tracky Dack Day, first know that Dack is Australian English slang for trousers. The same pants that Americans traditionally refer to as slacks. Dacks can be long or short, but don't think denim jeans or dacks. Tracky or tracky, spelled either way, is Aussie slang term to tracksuit, that unflattering kind of masculine but unisex athlete outfit, also called as jogging suit. But many, by most of us warm-ups, a complete tracky consists of long pants with an elastic weight, the dags and a matching waist length, zippered or pullover jacket with or without a hood. Trackies are usually made of a warm, soft knit or fleece fabric. Today is also commemorated as Necrotizing Fasciitis Awareness Day in US. Aims to provide information and help the treatment and prevention of this infection. It also encourages people to provide support in any way possible for those affected with necrotizing fasciitis. This disease is caused by bacteria and can destroy the skin, fat, and tissue covering the muscles if not treated properly. And in time, it can spread rapidly and can cause great harm. Necrotizing fasciitis is a rare bacterial disease which infects the tissues of skin, spreads rapidly. Unfortunately, everyone out of 4 people who are affected by it can die from this infection. Until the 19th century, this disease was known as phagedenic ulcer, Phagedena gangrenosa, gangrenous ulcer, malignant ulcer, putrid ulcer, or hospital gangrene. In 2006, a man named Tim Hayden developed a scratch on his knuckle. One day, he woke up with the flu-like symptoms and red streaks on his arms and torso. He was taken to a hospital immediately. An infectious disease specialist identified the symptoms as a sign of necrotizing fasciitis and prescribed emergency treatment, including surgeries and physical therapy. In 2016, Hayden formed online support group for survivors and necrotizing fasciitis. A year later, he launched a foundation And since then, May 31st was established as Necrotizing Fascists Awareness Day. Governor Rick Sider of Michigan declared the Necrotizing Fascists Awareness Day in the same year, and many other states in the United States have followed suit since then. Thus, Necrotizing Fascists Awareness Day has been observed each year for the last 4 years in the United States. Necrotizing fasciitis is believed to be more commonly caused by group A, Streptococcus. It is a rare, especially in healthy people. However, that does not mean we should be lackadaisical when we get a small cut. Identifying the symptoms in time can literally help you save your life. Today is also commemorated as National Utah Day in US, observed every year on May 31st, and is an official holiday allows to honor the culture and people of the state. Utah is known for its skiing landscape and Salt Lake City, which is home to the largest saltwater lake in Western Hemisphere. Salt Lake City even boasts a rich Native American heritage on this day, and it's time to dive deeper into rich history of Utah and celebrate this unique state. National Utah Day, albeit an unofficial day, celebrates the 45th state that gained statehood in the US and the people and indigenous population that contributed to its formation. The settlement history of Utah is rather unique, as it is believed that a religious group trekked a significant distance in search of land where they would be free from persecution. Utah was originally inhabited by the Native American tribes, including one named Ute, which is where the state gets its name from. When the state entered the Union, the Mormon locals proposed that it be named Deseret, which meant honey, according to the Book of Mormon. However, Congress felt the name sounded like desert, so they named it after the Ute tribe. Today is also commemorated as National Speak in Complete Sentences Day in US, which is celebrated on May 31st, is a day on which we are all expected to speak in full sentences. In grammar usage, a sentence is a linguistic expression. Traditionally speaking, it is typically defined as a string of words expressing a complete thought or a unit that comprises a subject and a predicate. In functional linguistics, sentences are defined as units of written text that are delimited by graphological features such as uppercase letters and sentence markers such as periods, question marks, and exclamation marks, among others. This is in contrast with the curve, which on its own is delimited by phonological features such as pitch and markers such as pauses, as well as with a clause, with a sequence of words that represent a process continuing throughout the time. Today is also commemorated as National Smile Day in US, where your smile to this party as we celebrate National Smile Day every year on May 31st, founded by dentist Dr. Tim Sterliman and Jim Ojdela of Compassionate Dental Care in Lake in the Hills, Illinois. This day is meant to you. You guessed it. So share with the world what the power of a healthy smile can do. The best part, this day heralds the beginning of National Smile Month. The history of the smile can be traced back to monkeys and apes, according to primatologist Sidney Preshoff. These animals bare their teeth in a facsimile of a smile to show dominance or warn off predators. The theory is that humans copied this behavior, and over time, the smile evolved to show amusement and enjoyment. Research indicates that on the way to portraying happiness, smiles were a way of attracting mates among early humans. Today is also commemorated as National Macaroon Day in US. The origins of macaron and macaroon are the same. Many of the ingredients overlap, Both use fair amount of sugar to make these delicious, delightful confections. Both used to make cookies rise and give them a light texture. However, French macaron, which actually originated in Italy, uses almond flour as its base, while the American macaron uses shredded coconut to great effect. Today is also commemorated as National Save Your Hearing Day in US and Better Speech and Hearing Month on the high note, but at a lower volume. Observe National Save Your Hearing Day, which is celebrated each year on May 31st, which it is unclear who founded this particular event. What these mysterious people wanted is crystal clear: to protect hearing and stave off hearing loss at all costs. So records of hearing loss have been around since ancient times. An Egyptian mummy found 2 showed evidence of having a perforated eardrum which signals hearing loss. The ancient Greeks do not have a great history for people afflicted with hearing loss. Records indicate such people were shunned by the general population. Surprisingly, the Greek philosopher Aristotle reportedly called them barbarians as they obviously could not speak properly. The earliest record of the hearing loss, however, is from ancient Egypt, in which an ancient piece of papyrus even offers a remedy for hearing loss. These guys, unlike ancient Greeks, were taught to treat disabled individuals with respect, including the deaf. Other civilizations who treated the deaf with respect were the Romans. A congenitally deaf Roman child in Britain was given a special burial in a coffin made of stone. Sign language began to be used early on, as evidenced by the writings of Athenian philosopher Plato. The earliest mention of the hearing device, on the other hand, comes from writings of Italian scholars who described an instrument that could amplify sounds. In later years, whatever the world and America learned about hearing protection was spurred on military needs. Both world wars saw the development of multiple new inventions in hearing aid, from earplugs and ear flaps to protect hearing to earmuffs. As with most inventions, these earmuffs also underwent a series of transformations to become the fluffy ear protectors they are today. The ear cushions were initially very stiff and needed a strong headband to hold them, causing them to be described as having vice-like grip. Today is also commemorated as National Fisher Folks Day in Philippines, which is celebrated annually on May 31st in the Philippines. On this day, Filipinos all across the country get together to show their appreciation for those who are on the front line of fishing and also those who have pledged to keep fishing sustainable, fighting against illegal practices within the community. Because the Philippines has an important fishing market, this day also brings awareness to the relevance of fisher folk of the country's economy. Today is also commemorated as National Boat Festival, Dragon Boat Festival. The Dragon Boat Festival falls on 5th day of the 5th month of Chinese lunar calendar, and this year it will be held on May 31st. Popular in southern China, the Dragon Boat Festival is an international event drawing a score of locals and tourists alike. To the outsider, the festival appears to be about racing dragon show shaped boats or about zongzi, the sweet savory dumpling. Traditionally associated with the day, not many people know the Dragon Boat Festival is in fact a homage to beloved pet who lived over 2000 years ago. The festival originated as a search for his body. Today is also commemorated as Autonomous Vehicle Day in US on 31st, embrace the future of travel on Autonomous Vehicle Day, celebrated yearly on May 31st. While self driving cars have until recently only lived in our imaginations or on the silver screen, technology and science have combined to bring us the dawn of a new era in travel. When automobiles can go from one place to another without anyone touching the wheel to stay updated with the latest autonomous inventions, follow the top automobile friends who bring sources and research for better understanding. Founded to honor the advances in the autonomous vehicle industry and to encourage the potential opportunities thereof, Autonomous Vehicle Day shows us how close we are to sea change in the way the world travels. So, autonomous vehicles are not a new concept. The legend of flying carpets is the earliest form of human imagination, dreaming up a driverless vehicle. Multiple technology innovations over years have brought autonomous vehicle development to where it is today, such as the guidance system of torpedoes and General Motors' 1958 Chevy, which had picked coils, allowing this model to steer itself. In fact, the journey began almost 100 years ago when the army engineer Francis Audina attached a radio control system to a car, allowing him to control it via remote control. To demonstrate features like turning, moderating speed, and honking, he drove his car around streets of New York. Apparently, the driverless car spooked passerby, which took to the calling it a phantom car. Of course, innovation in autonomous vehicles is not limited to cars alone. Local Motors developed OLI, which is an automated electric cognitive shuttle, which can transport up to 12 passengers at a time. Additionally, self-driving passenger vehicles, self-driving buses, and autonomous commercial trucks are also being developed. The Department of Defense is also purportedly developing self-driving military vehicles. Entrepreneurial ecosystem, a platform, emerging Prairie and American technology talk show host Marlo Anderson founded Autonomous Vehicle Day in 2017. Today is also commemorated as National Patient Participation Week. From May 31st to June 6th, National Patient Participation Week takes place, which is an annual event held in the first week of June each year. This week aims to raise the profile of patient participation. Groups that work with NHS patient participation groups employ the use of lived experience to influence how patients are treated by general practitioners and medical professionals. National Patient Participation Week also promotes the work of National Association of Patient Participation, which allows for national collaboration of patient participation. Patient particular groups are contractually required, that is, NHS medical centers and GP services are required to have a patient participation group and receive patient feedback to influence way treatment of patients is carried out. So patient participation was necessitated by medical paternalism. However, unchecked paternalism by a physician can hardly be justified and more repugnant than that would be unlimited patient autonomy. The process of informed consent is one which patients make decisions informed by the advice of medical professionals. In recent years, the term patient participation has been used in many different contexts, including, for instance, in shared decision making, participatory medicine, and patient centered care. In UK, throughout 2016, two new relevant terms have had an expansion of their usage, namely patient and public involvement, and the patient and public involvement engagement. These two terms have expanded in the sense of public services related co-production. Newer information was made available in 2019 after a collection of papers on the research topic was published. So increased patient participation in the health policy can lead to improvements in patient satisfaction as well as population health outcomes. It can also ensure the incorporation of public health needs into policies. Patients can influence health policy and mutually benefit from collaboration on patients' health with very useful feedback on the perceived quality and accessibility of healthcare services. Additionally, patient satisfaction results from these surveys have become an important metric for evaluating and comparing one another relating to participatory medicine, ensuring patients' representatives have proven rather difficult. Patient participation is a generic term, and as such, there is no exhaustive list. However, there are subdivisions into several areas where patients and or their advocates have a role to play in medical practice. Today is also commemorated as National Children's Gardening Week from May 31st to June 8th in UK, which is celebrated across the UK from the last Saturday of May to the following Sunday. And this year it is held from May 31st to June 8th. British children from all over the country came together to celebrate the benefits and fun of gardening at home. And their schools events are promoted throughout the week, and there are various types of gardening competitions for the kids to take part in. And this day is also held to support charity that works in children's hospices in the UK. The Horticultural Trade Association, HTA, is a UK-based organization that has supported gardening-related business and manufacturers as well as landscapers throughout the region since its inception in 1899. During that time, 16 men came together to advocate for a better representation of horticultural experts in matters such as taxation and competitions. The HTA is also responsible for the well-known National Garden Gift Voucher Scheme, which was devised by the national organization to promote the various businesses and independent producers that it supports. Neil Grant, a radio representative and a garden expert, founded National Children's Gardening Week in 2015, an event that takes place before the beginning of summer. At the end of the way, the event encourages children to take part in the gardening-related activities and events. Not only do children from across the UK take part in the celebration at home and at school, but simply publicizing the event, they help many charitable organizations such as Green Fingers Charity, which provides gardening services to children's hospices, and Save the Children. In 2018, the HTA assumed responsibility for National Children's Gardening Week main events. Neil Grant, the founder of the event, is also the member of the association. So the official website of the National Children's Gardening Week provides resources for parents and teachers to partake in the celebrations. The website also promotes national events and competitions that take place during this week, such as photography competition and even a caterpillar growing competition. Today is also commemorated as Garden Wildlife Week from May 31st to June 6th. Running from May 31st to June 6th in the UK, this week aims to raise awareness about garden wildlife. Historically speaking, humans have tended to separate our civilization from wildlife in numerous ways, including legally, morally, and socially. However, some animals have adapted to suburban environments. Some of these animals include domesticated cats, dogs, mice, squirrels, and rats, among others. In certain religions, some animals are considered to be sacred. And in modern times, activists have begun to protest against wildlife exploitation due to concerns for natural environment. So with this, we shall end today's commemorations. Thank you everyone for joining us on this wonderful occasion. So we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form, which has been raised in the form of polls before leaving the platform. So see you all tomorrow at the same time with the same joining link for different commemorations. Take care. Good night.